Buenas tardes, miércoles. Welcome everyone to another edition of Ano na BEV, Best Express Views. Friends and family, viewers from around the world, hit the subscribe button, like, share, and love, 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 love. On to our Wednesday topic. Today, we have a remarkable guest amongst us, is dedicated nurse who's not only passionate about healing bodies, but also about healing communities. With a heart full of compassion and a mind set on creating meaningful change, she aspires to transition from the noble profession of nursing to the dynamic world of politics. Las Vegas, get ready to witness the fusion of care and commitment with Donna Miller as she embarks on a journey to serve not just patients, but the entire city of Las Vegas. With her vision for a better, healthier, and more equitable future, let's give a warm welcome to Donna Miller. She shares her inspiring story and vision with us today. Welcome to Ano na BEV, Donna.
Well, thank you very much, Miss Beverly, for the invitation, and hello to our friends and families from the Filipino community.
Yes. As a nurse, how do you plan to advocate for the rights and safety of Filipino nurses in Las Vegas, especially when they face risks while caring for patients?
Well, I am a nurse and have been a nurse for 28 years, and 25 of those have been right here in this town. So I am, unfortunately, very familiar with the workplace violence and some of the incidents that are happening in certain parts of our healthcare facilities. I know that our state, while this is a nationwide issue, and it's getting worse. I know that the state of Nevada actually has legislation that is helping with managing those incidents. In 2019, I believe, Governor Sisolak passed the legislation where he was asking or demanding that hospitals and other healthcare facilities implement certain programs that are not only managing the workforce violence incidents, but also include prevention measures. Also, I know that in the state of Nevada, we actually consider the acts of violence, whether verbal or physical abuse. It's actually has increased consequences when such acts
especially
are happening.
The ER nurses.
Exactly. ER nurses, psychiatric wards, mental health usually. But I also I was actually a leader of our EMS. I was in charge of our ground ambulance for a few years, and they have a pretty high level or high incidences of violence in the back of ambulances.
And what specific policies will you implement to ensure that our nurses receives a fair compensation and protection in the workspace?
So nurses are the most trusted profession in the nation.
Correct.
As a matter of fact, we were voted 22 years in a row as the most trusted profession yet. We are the ones that quite often not necessarily are being paid what we would call equitable. And it has to do with our entire system. So definitely we need to make sure that labor laws are applicable equally to
and they are
all
well
the
compensated,
healthcare.
of course.
Yes, and being able to increase the pay or make it fair, or have no differences based on where a nurse comes from, right? I'm a nurse that comes from a different country as well, and my compensation should be direct proportional to the care that I provide with the quality of care that I provide, right? So my compensation should be equal to direct proportional with the merits that I bring to the table. And it's no different for the Filipino nurses, right?
Correct. How do you plan to address the challenges the nurses may encounter in terms of language barriers and cultural differences while providing care?
I, as a nurse that grew up, was born and raised somewhere else. I remember being that nurse that made it to the floor, yet I was uncomfortable speaking on the phone, right? So I was that nurse that when the phone rang, I was hurrying up the opposite direction.
Because you don't want to answer the phone.
I didn't want to answer the phone because, well, maybe I understood or maybe I had a hard time understanding. I wasn't comfortable doing it, and I felt that I wouldn't do myself any justice, and nor would I do justice for the caller.
The fear is always there.
But the reality is it wasn't that bad. It was just the pressure that we put onto ourselves that, we have an accent, the accent might be too heavy. So being able to overcome those language barriers is very important to me. Being able to include or to actually have the Filipino community work closely with the Filipino nurses that are arriving here to be able to help them integrate better into our community is high priority. So I am actually working with one of the local colleges to create a program for the internationally trained nurses.
Very
and
nice.
Part of the program is the fact it's a comprehensive part of the program is to teach the nurses to speak the healthcare language, right? Because in Philippines, you speak English, right?
Correct.
And you go to school and you speak English. You learn to become a nurse in English.
Correct.
So speaking English is really not the challenge here. The challenge is being able to speak the American healthcare language
Yes.
and be able.
It's another curriculum for them.
It is because you have certain dynamics that only happen in our healthcare system. So that's why we made it a big part of this program where while we call it ESL portion, it's actually meant towards specific areas within the nursing profession. Another thing that is also a very important fact within that program is to teach leadership skills. Because as a nurse, how often do we get to be taught in nursing school how to be a charge
leader,
nurse?
yes.
Exactly. So nowadays, with the shortage of nurses, with the burnout of the nurses, it's not unusual for the most senior nurse on the floor, and that may be
You need to step up.
2 weeks ago, 2 months ago, right? So
Yes.
it's not really a long timer. It's not unusual for that person to automatically become the charge
nurses. Yes.
And we don't teach those skills in nursing school, nor do we teach those skills when you become part of a hospital. So being able to speak that language as a nurse and as a foreign trained nurse, it's
yes.
very important.
Correct. Well, let's talk about your strategy to collaborate with healthcare institutions and organizations to address discrimination and prejudice faced by Filipino nurses in Nevada. Or in Las Vegas, rather.
Well, cultural competency is definitely a very important training that has been included actually recently in the mandatory training for nurses. It's very important because we all bring different values to the table, right? And being able to understand what we bring from that is specifically to our culture is very important. Things that we may use to compliment one may not necessarily be a compliment in a different culture. And I remember growing up in Romania, looking
You're from
people.
Romania, yes.
I am from Romania, and I was 21 when I came here. I didn't speak the language either, so that's why I totally can relate to that challenge. Except I didn't speak the language. The Filipino nurses do speak English, so it's very impressive to see that difference. But growing up in Romania, looking somebody in the eye was an insult. So something as simple as that is very important to understand as a difference in culture, because you come to the United States and if you don't
Everybody looks at their eye.
and if you don't, what happened? They feel that you're not trustworthy, right?
Correct.
That you're not being honest.
Yes.
So being able to look, especially someone that you report to in the healthcare community, perhaps it's your
Boss.
boss, right? And from my culture, to look up my boss in the eye, it's an insult. It's almost like challenging the boss. Here, if you don't look your boss in the eye, it's a distress.
It's the speculations of lying or not telling the truth or some kind of behavioral mismanagement or something.
Very true, right?
Right.
So those are very important to train our nurses.
How are you able to adapt that or to challenge that? Like right now we're speaking eye to eye and, 21-year-old coming from, Romania to here. So do you speak like that? You have to...
You do. I grew up in communism, right? So I grew up in a place where there were certain levels of, they called it respect.
Yes.
Where if you don't speak the same with people your age versus people that you have respect for.
Yes.
There's a certain, we call it to the third, you speak to someone that you have respect to the third person.
So do you always talk like looking down or?
You don't look, yeah, pretty much. Nowadays though, that has changed. So keep in mind that I came from Romania about 33 years ago. And I had to think because I had my daughter here. And I usually say, I've been here for 10 years. No, I've been here for 33 years.
33 years.
So I had a lot of help. I've made a lot of mistakes. I got to pay for the consequences for those mistakes. But I had a lot of help. And I know that I wouldn't be where I'm at without the help of people, most of them people I've never met before. But that's why I believe that the Filipino community is very strong in our city. We have a Filipino Nurse Association, right?
Yes, the Filipino of Nevada. Yes. And the Nurse Practitioners of Nevada as well.
And you have Philippine Times, so you have your own
that's a newspaper.
Right? Yes. But I think when you put all of those resources together, it's really important to realize that there are resources, there are ways that we can work together.
Yes.
And as a mayor, one of the things that I'm working on is to form a cabinet that actually has members of different interest groups and also different ethnic groups, because while I am an immigrant, I come from Romania, and my issues would be very different in certain ways, perhaps similar in some ways, but very different in other ways from other ethnic groups or for other first-generation immigrants. So being able to speak to the person that truly represents those interests is very important, and it's also very important to continue that communication, right? So it's not just to tell you what my issue is.
Correct.
The reality is, what do we do with this?
How do you address the issue?
Right, yes. And how do you measure the success, right?
Yes.
Because if we are just putting it on the table and it's like, yeah, we know about that problem, now what? I think that as a leader in the community, not only we have the responsibility to understand what the issues are, but we have the responsibility to address it.
Very well said. Let's take a momentary break, and when we come back, we'll explore Donna's insightful perspectives, drawing on her expertise and knowledge in healthcare, community outreach, and strategies she plans to implement fully in the city of Las Vegas, your home.
3 decades of Filipino talent. 1 star-studded party. ASAP Natin To California. August 3 at the Toyota Arena, Ontario, California. Grab your tickets now. Get 15% off when you purchase online until March 8 or call your nearest ticket agent. Get your tickets now.
Don't be fooled by flashy ads. When it comes to personal injury, choose the Richard Harris Law Firm. Dahil kay Richard Harris, wala kang worries.
The Richard Harris Law Firm, just in case.
I've been seeing the Richard Harris Law Firm billboards everywhere for years. But when I met him personally, I knew totoo siya. He is not just a billboard. Sa Richard Harris Law Firm, less fee, guaranteed.
Sabi ng patients ko, they don't need a colonoscopy because they don't feel anything. But colon cancer is a silent killer. It affects both men and women, mayaman man o mahirap. Have your colon checked.
With an unprecedented track record,
Ardent Home Health Care Agency shines.
We work closely and diligently with our clients, their families, and their physicians.
We are committed to providing an involved trusting partnership with our clients.
We provide more than just medical services.
We help our clients restore their optimum level of function and health.
We are responsive and compassionate to the varying needs of our clients.
Ardent Home Health Care Agency, where care meets heart. In a world where care meets quality, reliable care professionals stands out. Dedicated to excellence, our medical staff brings compassion to your doorstep. From staffing the finest in healthcare to providing top-tier in-home services, we're the heartbeat behind your healthcare needs.
Reliable care professionals, your trusted partner in medical staffing.
Call us today, 253-374-5656. Don't worry about your taxes. Get ahead and schedule an appointment at JRN Consulting and Tax Services at 2235 East Flamingo Road, Suite 110, Las Vegas, Nevada. Call Janet DeRoma at 702-580-5783 to ease your tax season stress. Deadline is April 15, 2024.
3 decades of Filipino talent. 1 star-studded party. ASAP Natin To California. August 3 at the Toyota Arena, Ontario, California. Grab your tickets now. Get 15% off when you purchase online until March 8 or call your nearest ticket agent. Get your tickets now.
Welcome back to Ano Na Bev. Still with us, Miss Donna Miller, veteran nurse and operator of a medical flight company to lead the city into the future. We have a question from a viewer. Donna, how will you prioritize the mental health and well-being of Filipino nurses who may experience burnout or trauma from challenging patient care situations?
Well, that comes with the job nowadays, and especially after COVID, things got pretty difficult because of the shortages of healthcare providers, and with that comes burnout, and with that comes stress. So stress management is really important when it comes to all healthcare providers, but especially for the Filipino nurses, who actually are a pretty large percentage of our nurses nowadays.
Yes,
helping us greatly with cutting building that bridge, actually, while we are trying to figure out how else do we retain nurses, how do we attract more nurses, and while we are trying super hard to retain and to keep the nurses that we have from moving into different
states,
other industries,
yes,
different states, other countries. So stress management workshops would be very important in my opinion, in order to best manage that, and resilience training. Such programs would be important not only at the hospital and the facility level, but it would be really important within the community.
Yes.
So being able to also to promote a culture of care. Because you know what? As nurses, we care for everybody.
Yes.
Forget about ourselves. It's not a big deal, right? I can do it. I will take care of you. I will give you the gift of tomorrow.
And self-care
right?
is really important.
But we forget about the fact that we need rest and
Correct.
we need to disengage. So being able to create that within the community and would be very important.
Very well said. How do you plan to engage with Filipino nurse organizations and community leaders to understand their needs and concerns?
So As mentioned a few minutes ago, actually being able to have direct contact with leaders of the Filipino community would be very important because they would be able to speak directly to the challenges and to the problems or the issues that the Filipino nurses specifically are encountering. And being able to take that voice to the healthcare organizations to perhaps create certain programs or even create certain legislative pieces where we embrace the internationally trained community that is really helping us out. And as part of the program that I was describing a little bit earlier, we looked at different countries, right, trying to understand who actually can we go and ask for help without interfering or without weakening the system in their own country. And that's how we went to Philippines first. And I had the privilege to visit with over 400 nurses in Philippines and learn a lot about your culture, learn a lot about educational system in Philippines, and learn a lot about the fact that the Philippines produces nurses that
it's
are
the breeding ground of
well-regarded.
nurses and teachers.
It is, especially nowadays for us too, here locally. But I'm talking worldwide. I was very impressed because I didn't know that. Right, we learn all the time, and that is one element that I went to Philippines, and I was very happy to see that and to learn that. And also, I was very proud that we were able to go and ask for help for somebody that would not affect them negatively. It's not like we are asking to bring nurses here in exchange for the system at home to be heard. So that was very that was a great.
Experience, correct?
Experience,
Where did you fly in the Philippines?
Manila. And I learned a lot about your food too.
Yes, of course.
And the hospitality.
Yes,
amazing.
And everybody there speaks English.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that was my advantage, right? Because I don't speak Tagalog. But let me tell you something else. When I went and registered here at the city for to become formally become a mayoral candidate, they gave me the instructions in 3 languages, which was very surprising.
3 languages: English, Tagalog, and Spanish.
Exactly.
So Filipino is a major language here.
Exactly. But I expected it to be based on previous experiences, right? To be English and Spanish. And when they gave it to me in Tagalog, I was very surprised. But that spoke volume, because it speaks about the involvement of the Filipino community into our community.
Thank you so much, Miss Donna, for your time, and your expertise and insights have added immense value to our conversation, shedding light on critical aspects of healthcare and strategic planning. Your dedication to improving the healthcare landscape is truly inspiring, and we are grateful for the wisdom you've shared with us today. Thank you so much, really. You being a beacon of knowledge, and for your unwavering commitment to making a positive impact in the healthcare industry. Maraming salamat.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
We look forward to future opportunities to learn from your expertise too, again, and your invaluable contribution.
I appreciate you and your community, and I look forward to working together in ways that we haven't yet.
Subscribe na!
3 decades of Filipino talent. 1 star-studded party. ASAP Natin To California. August 3 at the Toyota Arena, Ontario, California. Grab your tickets now. Get 15% off when you purchase online until March 8 or call your nearest ticket agent. Get your tickets now.
Don't be fooled by flashy ads. When it comes to personal injury, choose the Richard Harris Law Firm. Dahil kay Richard Harris, wala kang worries.
The Richard Harris Law Firm, just in case.
I've been seeing the Richard Harris Law Firm billboards everywhere for years. But when I met him personally, I knew totoo siya. He is not just a billboard. Sa Richard Harris Law Firm, less fee, guaranteed.
Sabi ng patients ko, They don't need a colonoscopy because they don't feel anything. But colon cancer is a silent killer. It affects both men and women, mayaman man o mahirap. Have your colon checked.
With an unprecedented track record, Ardent Home Health Care Agency shines.
We work closely and diligently with our clients, their families, and their physicians.
We are committed to providing an involved trusting partnership with our clients.
We provide more than just medical services.
We help our clients restore their optimum level of function and health.
We are responsive and compassionate to the varying needs of our clients.
Ardent Home Health Care Agency, where care meets heart. In a world where care meets quality, reliable care professionals stands out. Dedicated to excellence, our medical staff brings compassion to your doorstep, from staffing the finest in healthcare to providing top-tier in-home services. We're the heartbeat behind your healthcare needs.
Reliable care professionals, your trusted partner in medical staffing.
Call us today, 253-374-5656. Don't worry about your taxes. Get ahead and schedule an appointment at JRN Consulting and Tax Services at 2235 East Flamingo Road, Suite 110, Las Vegas, Nevada. Call Janet DeRoma at 702-580-5783 to ease your tax season stress. Deadline is April 15, 2024.
3 decades of Filipino talent. 1 star-studded party. ASAP Natin To, California. August 3 at the Toyota Arena, Ontario, California. Grab your tickets now. Get 15% off when you purchase online until March 8 or call your nearest ticket agent. Get your tickets now.